You really have to wonder. In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
So let me start by saying that guy, Charlie Kirk, the guy who just said that some of the smartest and most accomplished women in the history of this country don't have the brain processing power to be taken seriously, that guy dropped out in junior college. Yeah, so the guy who didn't have the brain processing power to even finish college at all is questioning the intelligence of women who graduated at the top of their Ivy League colleges and then went on to receive graduate degrees from those colleges as well. That is rich. But you know what? Let's let this dude stick his foot even deeper in his mouth.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
And there's the white supremacy. So Charlie Kirk assumes that any black person who got into an Ivy League school on any type of affirmative action at all must have taken a white person's spot. And then he also assumes that every white person that goes to an Ivy League school got in there on merit alone. And that's interesting because we literally just saw a scandal where rich white people were paying for their kids to get into Ivy League schools. And here's something else that we know. We know that many of the students who get into Ivy League schools get in through legacy admissions. So, bro, your white supremacy and ignorance is showing big time. But I'm going to let you finish.
Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
So again, the guy who dropped out of junior college is saying that the woman who graduated at the top of her Ivy League class wasn't smart enough to get in on her own. And Charlie Kirk isn't even smart enough to realize the ignorance, bigotry, and irony in that statement. But you know, let's take a look at Sheila Jackson Lee. Because I want you to realize that Charlie Kirk doesn't have the brain processing power to clean her freaking shoes. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee earned a bachelor's degree in political science from Yale University in 1972. She graduated with honors. And the date is significant because it was the first year women graduated from Yale. So she wasn't only a pioneer for black women, she was a pioneer for all women. She then went on to get her Juris Doctorate from the University of Virginia Law School. She has sponsored and passed numerous legislation in Congress. She has raised 2 children who are Ivy League students as well. Charlie, dude, you're way out of your league. Like, she has preteen grandchildren that are way smarter than you. But you know what? Let's hear more.
I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course, that's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course.
Is this guy really calling people narcissists? And then he's talking about who impresses him with their brilliance, when one of the most impressive people to him is Lauren Boebert, a congressperson who failed her GED test 3 times before finally having someone else take it for her. Allegedly. But let's see. Michelle Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Joy Reid. None of who said that they got into college on affirmative action, but what they did say is that their counselors told them to aim lower. And that was probably because they knew about the systemic issues that typically held black women out of Ivy League colleges. But let's start with Joy Reid. Joy Reid graduated from Harvard University and has been an author and a host on several major networks. Charlie Kirk has a podcast that no one listens to. Ketanji Brown Jackson graduated from Harvard University summa cum laude. That means not only did she get in, but then she outperformed 90% of her classmates. And then she went on to get her Juris Doctorate, in which she graduated cum laude. That means not only did she get in, but she then outperformed 80% of her classmates. She's now a Supreme Court justice. Charlie Kirk wouldn't be asked to judge a freaking hot dog eating contest. Michelle Obama graduated cum laude from Princeton University in 1985. So not only did she get in, she outperformed 80% of her classmates. She then went on to get her Juris Doctorate from Harvard Law in 1988. She was the first lady, as well as a practicing attorney and an author. Charlie Kirk doesn't have the brain processing power to author a good freaking coloring book. But again, go on.
Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies. That turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our policies.
I'm gonna just be real here with you, Charlie. This is embarrassing for you. Like, you look absolutely stupid right now. Because not only did these women get into these colleges on their own merit, they killed it while they were there. They outperformed all of the white people that you think they stole spots from. And you know, this is what works with affirmative action. This is why it's actually used. Because what affirmative action has revealed is that, yes, when you take people of color from impoverished areas, from areas that don't have the same resources that maybe kids in white suburbia have, and you put them against those same kids, they perform as well as them or better than them almost every single time. So while you sit here and try to say that they're racist against white people based on their legislation, which is completely untrue, and we're talking about one person who actually writes policy of the four that you're talking about, so you're wrong there as well. But when you try to say that they're racist based on their policy, nah. What's obvious is that based on your words, you're the racist. Period.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.